Joining us right now to talk more about the looming debt ceiling deadline is Heather Boushey. She is a member of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. And Heather, I think the new deadline that came from the Treasury Secretary yesterday caught a lot of people off guard. Seems like the economy is worsening to some extent. Tax receipts coming in weaker than expected. What happened here?
Well, we have been watching this closely and certainly waiting for the news in terms of what tax receipts would look like. And Janet Yellen's, Secretary Yellen's letter yesterday indicated that this deadline is more urgent than we had thought. But certainly the deadline was already urgent. We know that this is Congress's constitutional responsibility to make sure to increase the debt limit so that the U.S. does not default on the bills that we have already incurred, the bills that we owe, so that we don't, in the president's words, become a deadbeat nation. So we already knew that this was urgent and that the economic consequences could be dire if we get too close to this or go past this deadline.
If we already knew this was urgent, and I have to say this new urgency is a little concerning from a lot of different perspectives, it feels like there isn't much progress that's been made. The idea that, okay, we're finally going to get everybody together to sit down and talk, but it's not going to happen for a week, which is 1 week into the 4 weeks we have left before the deadline. How is this going to really get going? Are there talks that are happening behind the scenes already?
Well, certainly there are ongoing conversations, but let's be very clear. Raising the debt ceiling limit is something that Congresses do in regular order, regularly, year after year, time after time. In fact, in the previous administration, Speaker McCarthy voted 3 times for a clean debt ceiling increase. This is something that happens as a matter of course. And so this is something that Congress could just do. It's something that the president has asked them to do, to increase the debt ceiling, give it a clean increase limit, so that we can move on and focus on the other pressing economic issues facing the nation.
Again, though, I mean, if this comes down to it, are we just playing a big game of chicken? And what do you think happens if we do default?
Well, certainly there are 2 things here. First of all, default is certainly an extreme and action that would have negative implications for the U.S. economy. We're already seeing some of that start to flow through markets, and that will only likely get more urgent, more challenging as we get closer to the deadline. You know, the estimates that we have looked at from previous periods where we got close to the debt ceiling do show that there could be very dire economic consequences. This recovery has been quite robust and has been able to weather a variety of challenges that have been thrown at it, from, repeated variants of the virus to the, unprovoked war in the Ukraine that upended global energy prices and all the rest. I think there are real concerns whether or not this economy would be able to withstand this. We think that this could lead to widespread unemployment and certainly challenges in financial markets. So that is why it is so urgent that we just move forward on this. The other thing is that the proper place to have a conversation about future spending is through the budgets and appropriations process. The president has been clear on this from the get-go. That is the regular course of order in the U.S. Congress. And, the president put out his budget. The House has now put together their, a piece of their spending plan, put out a vision for that. And so the president said, let's come together and have that conversation about that future spending. But in terms of spending that Congress has already approved, we need to just increase that debt ceiling limit.
Heather, there have been cases in the past when Biden was a senator that spending reduction reforms were enacted by Congress that were bipartisan. They were attached to legislation that raised the debt ceiling, and Senator Biden voted for that 4 times himself.
Well, certainly, and Speaker McCarthy voted 3 times under the prior administration for a clean debt limit. Where this economy is right now, and given where Congress is, the president continues to believe that that is the right course of action. It is what he has called for. As he has said repeatedly, the U.S. should not become a deadbeat nation.
So if they don't agree to that, then your answer is we'll go into default?
I am certainly not saying that we will go into default. I'm saying, these negotiations, the president has called everyone here to the White House, as you noted, a week from now, and these conversations are ongoing.